Let's go to the Shadow Health Minister Anne Ruston, joining us live from Sydney today. Thanks for joining us, Anne. The opposition leader, your boss Peter Dutton, was focusing on law and order today. The former copper focusing on law and order at a federal level. It's fairly late in the campaign to be rolling all that out.
Well, it's not the first time that Peter Dutton's been talking about law and order. He's been talking about it for the entire term of this government. I mean, we've seen the crime gangs, particularly in Victoria, the fire bombings, the illicit tobacco, the illegal vapes. And, you know, we've had a government both in Victoria and nationally who just have turned a blind eye to it. And so I think what Peter has done today is to just put firmly on the table his absolute commitment, reinforcing everything he's been saying through the last 3 years, that we need to be the tough cop on the beat because we can't have organised crime out there on our streets, running lawlessly, stealing cars, predating on young children, putting vapes into the hands of minors, and just basically creating havoc in our communities, which we've seen across Australia, but none more so than in Victoria.
Yeah, he revealed or announced a $750 million package, and a few of the focuses there are on a national child sex offenders register and also tackling the illegal tobacco gangs, the organised crime around that, which is causing a lot of problems around the country, particularly in Victoria. But what I found extraordinary today is after Peter Dutton announced that package, the Prime Minister seemed to be saying, don't worry, everything's okay. Have a look at Anthony Albanese.
There's a national child offender system in place right now. My government will respond positively to any request from police or security agencies, as we have done. My government is the first government to set up a national firearms register. Didn't exist before. In some states, the national firearms, there was no national firearms register. The state registers were with pen and paper. Pen and paper. It wasn't even digitised. My government is funding that. My government is acting on all of these issues in accordance with advice.
Anne Ruston, he seems to be saying they've got a good record on law and order, but the experience in many states, especially Victoria and Queensland, I would suggest, is that people are seeing a lot of problems.
Well, this is just another example of a Prime Minister who's completely out of touch with what the public are really feeling. We've got a Prime Minister and a government that's running around telling Australians that, you know, things are great out there, but the experience of every Australian, whether it be in crime or law and order or access to health or they're dealing with their cost of living crisis is really real. And it's a completely different story when you speak to people on the ground than the one that the Prime Minister's trying to spin to Australians as he runs around this election campaign.
It must frustrate you then to see the polls at the moment where the coalition vote has been trending down, Labor ticking up, if anything. It looks like you've gone backwards so far in this campaign. Why?
Look, I think what we're doing at the moment is we're out talking to Australians, and I'm out there all day, every day talking to Australians, Chris, and I can tell you it's a different story out on the ground. Australians are really struggling with cost of living. They're telling us that they feel much worse off than when this government came into power. So we're really focused on making sure that, first of all, we listen to Australians about what their concerns are, and then we've been rolling out our policies to show Australians that we've got a clear and positive plan to make their lives better after the election. And so that's what our job is for the next 12 days, as it has been through the entire campaign, is to make sure that Australians see that they've got a choice here, an alternative. They can choose more of the same, and I've got to tell you, there are not too many Australians who tell me they want more of the same, or they can choose an alternative with a strong leader like Peter Dutton, who will make a real difference in their lives and focus on the issues that matter to Australians.
Anne Ruston, thanks so much for joining us.